but I think when we go back to the Wheel of Life exercise, which is always one that hits kind of deep because things can be really great in aspects of our life, and then other places that line comes way in, and we're not as good. I want to talk about that, and I thought, who better than somebody that literally just wrote a book on it? So everybody, welcome our friend Mark Berger. What's up, buddy? Okay, so Mark, good to see you again. It's been
Jeffrey.
At least 2 hours.
Yep.
You used to be fat.
I was a little overweight. Yeah,
I know Mark pretty well. We can just jump in.
I was an athlete my entire life. I went to LSU. I worked at Fred's. Anybody ever been there? Okay, so I worked there.
Drank there.
I worked for Anheuser-Busch after doing marketing and public relations. They gave me a credit card. They said, take people out to eat, drink a bunch of beer, throw big parties. And that's what I did, and I thought it was really great after college. So I gained probably 20 to 30 pounds and was not as active as I normally was.
And then you had some kind of epiphany.
There was the general manager at Fred's. His name was Ronnie. And I was working in Anheuser-Busch at the time. And Fred's had a softball team, and they were at LSU Rec. A little sprinkle. Had about 20 guys out there throwing the ball. Lightning hit my roommate, and he fell dead at LSU. And so I kind of looked at my life, and I was like, I'm not going to curse. What the F am I going to do? See? I didn't curse this time.
You did great.
Yeah. What am I going to do?
Next time, let's just not talk about it.
What am I going to do with my life? Because, I was smoking casually. I was drinking all the time. And I was like, I want to get back to being like the athlete that I always was. So that was kind of like the tipping point of, that kind of college lifestyle in my early 20s, even though I was out of college, still living like that, and then moving on to more holistic type of life. But it was like a constant, it wasn't just like I switched everything there. I mean, it was like gradual steps to get to the place that I'm at now.
And you really did change your life and wrote a book on making those life changes. But I think that for us, well, I'll talk for me. How about that? Life gets in the way. Like I can't just quit everything. And I've had some realizations. I mean, I never met my maternal grandfather. He died of a massive heart attack when he was in his 40s. I don't want to die. I've got 3 young kids. I think about that. It kind of weighs on me. But I still made a lot of like choices that were contrary to that for many, many years. And then like slowly, I think a buddy of mine, Ben, one day I was saying like, I just can't make doing any exercise stick. And then he and I started walking, which led to us ending up seeing you on Wednesday mornings. And now we exercise 4 days a week, but that took years to start.
So
like, how do people how do you start this change in your life when you have maybe kids beyond, I mean, real estate's beyond a full-time job for most people.
So I think let's take out the kids in the family, which means a lot, because no matter what, for the rest of your life, you have to live with yourself. And so if you don't start putting work on yourself, it's going to be harder to be there for your children and your loved ones. And so it's, a lot of people, they're like, hey, I'm going to have this life change. And they like, I'm going to go do something big. Well, you go do something big and you're not used to doing something big like that. Most of the time, you're probably not going to stick with it. So the book is really about implementing incremental things into your life. So little small things that lead to bigger transformation.
Okay, so give us an example of that.
Give you an
let's
example.
not just, let's.
So, all right.
Dive in a little bit more.
Can anybody guess what the first thing that I do when I wake up? Nope. Nope.
Go to the bathroom.
Nope.
Okay, just tell us.
What's that?
We don't need any more guesses.
All those things are very close to it. The first thing that I do when I wake up is I smile. because no matter how tired I am, if I smile, put like some shit eating grin on my face, no matter what, I'm gonna feel a little bit better. It's gonna change something into my head, versus like hitting the alarm clock or putting a frown on my face and be like, I don't want to do this again. So just by me doing that, it's a little thing. It makes a huge difference. From there, I go straight to my altar in my room. I might have a sip of water too. And I meditate for at least 10 minutes. I do some prayers, some mantras, some affirmations, some gratitude practice. And then on to my day, depending what that is. Sometimes it's coffee. And people are like, is coffee like something that you need to put in there? That's part of the thing that's going to get you to something else. So like if you need coffee to go and meditate, or if you need coffee before you go work out, or coffee to see that, it's part of your daily ritual. It's kind of like a transition to get to that thing. You know, I drink coffee. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, obviously you can have too much, but yeah, if brushing your teeth or making your bed is part of that transition to get to these more holistic practices, then those are the things that you need to throw into your life. And I try not to make it dogmatic. Like whether I call this sadhana is the name of the book, and sadhana means your spiritual routine. So I'm not dogmatic about what your spirituality needs to be. And so if you look at everything as spiritual in your life, as everything has some is divine, then you give more respect and more reverence to everything you do. So whether it's what you're putting in your body, it's your relationships, it's the food, it's what you're consuming from television or social media, it's all part of our spiritual plan.
Talk about relationships. You have a section in the book where you talk about that a bunch.
Okay.
Um, and how do you- how have you figured out how to get toxic people out of your world?
So I go to India a lot. I've studied there for yoga stuff. I've put on retreats there. Sometimes I just go to like get away. And I go there and I have all these like incredible conversations about life and about spirituality and just, the things that I'm not having here all the time. Then I come home and I'm kind of like a little depressed. And so what it is it's cultivating those things in your relationship. So if you're around people and all they want to do is sit around and gossip, then that's what you're going to be consumed with. So, if you're with some friends, like one year I had a birthday party and had 30 people at least sitting around my backyard. Everybody's got a cocktail in their hand. And I made everybody go around and say one thing that they were grateful for and one thing that they were like working towards in their life, to kind of put it out there and manifest it. And a lot of people had never like spoken public like that before. And some people started crying, and some people like it was like this big release for them. Or they came after me like, hey, this is something I really needed. So it's up to us to cultivate the stuff that we want in relationships. If we're expecting somebody else to come in and say know what you need in your life, and you're just gonna wait for that to happen, it's never gonna happen. So you need to go in there, whether you're married or you're single or whatever, or it's just your friends and family, and cultivate the type of relationships that you want. Because if you're gonna wait, like I said, you're gonna just be sitting there. If you think everything's gonna be like reciprocal, if you keep giving, 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 and expect things to come back, you're gonna be waiting a long time.
Hmm. Just thinking about a couple of. There's certainly people in my life that I know if I stop calling, the calls will stop.
And I think also it's, if you want that reciprocation, ask them for it. I was a Lululemon ambassador for 5 years, and they always would say, like, if there's something that you need, to ask for it. And a lot of times we're scared to do that. It makes us a little vulnerable. But if it's a relationship that you really care about and you want that person to, like I said, have some reciprocation on that relationship, say like, hey, I'm not getting what I need from this relationship. Maybe it's a little too harsh, or maybe it's just doing a more subtle way, and saying like, hey, let's talk about something else. Let's go somewhere and do something that's gonna, brighten our relationship instead of dim it. Because a lot of times we feel like, people lean on us, or like I said, they're just talking about drama and stuff like that, and it's just something that it's not going to make our life, be on this trajectory if that's all we're around.
So you take this like way you've dedicated your life very seriously. If you can't tell, having an altar in your bedroom. That was new. I've never been in there. Um, but you brought, New Orleans is a festival town,
Mhm.
and you brought a yoga festival to you created a yoga festival in New Orleans. Last year was the first year.
Yep.
You did it in the Superdome, which is not.
Didn't do
No,
the
wait,
Superdome.
where'd you do it?
I taught yoga in the Superdome, but
I tell you,
it was last year. It was at Republic and Aurora, and this year it's going to be at Hotel Peter and Paul.
I mean, these are nice sized venues here.
Yeah.
So tell us about that experience of creating a festival and like all the. I mean, that's a whole nother business. You basically
It's not
created.
easy. You have a staff of between presenters and your board and volunteers of probably 70 to 100 people. Um, we are the home of festivals, and everything revolves around eating and drinking. Do I have a cocktail every once in a while? 100%. Like it's not. I don't drink a lot, but every once in a while I will. So I'm not going to say that I don't do that. Um, do I sometimes go and eat at some of our beautiful restaurants here? Every once in a while. Most of the time, I probably cook what I eat because I like to know what I'm putting in my body. When it came to this, it's just something that we were lacking, something that was a little bit more holistic. I mean, we have races all the time. There's a million races, but where can you go and get yoga? We have dance, we have music, we have lectures on how to stay healthy and about spirituality and a bunch of other things. So it's got a lot for everybody. And I felt like, New Orleans needs something. So it is during Decadence, Cody. So you had to skip Decadence this year. But
Can't do both. You gotta be,
yeah,
you
you
gotta be
can do
all
both.
in for
You
just
can do
one.
both. You can do both. But yeah, I mean, it's Labor Day weekend, and it's a lot of work. And you know, yes, would I like to make money off of it? 100%. Would I also like to heal my community even more? Would I like to bring people to New Orleans and say, "Hey, we have an incredible culture here, and it's not just about Bourbon Street or at a parade with people throwing plastic crap at you." I can say crap.
So yeah. So all right. So it's Labor Day weekend at Hotel Peter and Paul. How do we sign up if we're curious, or go find out more if we're curious?
I brought some flyers right there. It's nolayogafest.com.
All right.
Yeah, and there's Instagrams for it all, Nola Yoga Fest.
And you've got a lot of people coming in from out of town for this.
Yeah, last year we kept it more local teachers because it was the first year. This year we're bringing in probably 12 big names from around the country. So yeah, just like a concert, obviously like y'all might not be in the yoga world and not know who these people are. But at the same time, these people have like mastered their craft and they're going around the country to festivals, going around the world to teach, to play music. And I'm really excited to have the lineup that we have.
Cool. And if this isn't exactly a yoga body here. Is that okay, or do I just have to be a pro?
So
Just watch my grunts and things
yoga
like
is
that?
not about the way you look or if you can touch your toes. It's more about like finding some like inner peace, right? Yoga means to connect with yourself, connect with the divine, whatever that is for you. And when you connect with yourself, it's mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. So yeah, yoga is not just a bunch of like crazy poses or people jumping into handstands.
I don't know. I don't know. I was with you until you said the last part. Okay, who's got a question for Mark? All that quiet. Go ahead, Erica. And Jesse. You raised your hand. Let Erica go first.
So first of all, I appreciate you for bringing, like what you said, bring healing to New Orleans, because I do think that this is a city where you you can get lost, right, with your health because it's like it's a food festival every week almost. And so I have diabetes, right? And so now I feel like I'm fighting. I wasn't proactive enough. So like now I'm just reactively fighting. So I appreciate what you're doing. Was there a time where your body sometimes I get down on myself because my body sometimes I feel like my body doesn't feel enough to like get well and like do the things. Was there ever a point where like you didn't feel the best, like, but you pushed yourself and you kept going and you felt better and stronger? So like
Yeah, like I said, I was about 20 to 30 pounds more than I am now. And, like he
You
said,
were more than that, weren't you?
no, I
Your
was,
face was a lot rounder.
yeah, my face was round.
We could pull tape on this.
Uh,
You know what he did to me this morning? Like, anytime I could give it back, like,
all right. So just like he said, he started with just walking with his friend in the morning. It was something super simple, right? Um, I always tell people, find what you like to do. Don't just, if somebody says like, go do a spin class, who was saying that she hates spin class?
Cammy?
She was
Tina?
like, I hate spin classes. Don't go do a spin class, right? Go walk or find something you like or try new things. Get somebody that you can trust that maybe can like point you in the right directions and help you. But everything is small steps. I use the analogy of an ocean that ripples make waves over time. So you just start with those little ripples. Eventually, they become waves and make bigger, investments into your life.
Yeah, I'll tell you for me, it was almost quarterly for about 2 years being like, I got to do something, I got to do something, I got to do something. And then finally, Ben said, my friend Ben, who's in those videos every morning, uh, he said, why don't we just meet at Metairie Playground tomorrow morning at, what time? And we ended up at 5 o'clock. And that's what started it. And I think for almost 2 years, all we did was walk 2 days a week. And then that grew. And I think that whole lead domino thing was much more sustainable than just starting some big, massive plan and killing yourself and then hating it.
And also, I mean, we're animals. We're made to move all day long. And with technology, even though there's great things with technology, just like we're doing here, it's made everything convenient. So we become a little bit more lazy, right? We're a little bit more lazy. And so, and we also just really want comfort, right? And I mean, but also I say that, and then you have to think about, and we were going to talk about this, but there's a lot of things that are coming in our way, right? There's a lot of stressful things that are in our way all the time and obstacles. If we don't put conscious stress on ourselves to start with, then when those other stressful things come into our way, we're not ready for those other things. So putting conscious stress, and that's not just movement based. I mean, if you stop reading every single day, if you don't use it, you
Lose it.
So same thing. If you have a spiritual, if you have a spiritual practice, and you're not using that, when something comes as whatever, and you need your higher power, and you haven't been tapping into that, it's really hard to back into it sometimes. So I think it's constantly, I move every single day. I'm not saying that everybody has to, but like going for a walk is just something we should do. Instead of like calling somebody in your office, go walk and talk to them.
Cody and I sometimes take walks up on the levee to talk something over.
I think you hit on a real.
Get up the chair every now and then. I'm like, I got to get up and I got to walk.
You're also freezing cold.
Your watch will tell you to.
Yeah.
Yep. But I think you really hit on a point that kind of, I wanted to point back at is that, the way that we grow up in society, a lot of people don't think of themselves first. They think that's selfish. But if you're not taking care of yourself first, you can't help anyone else. So the aspect of that first thing in the morning, whether it's meditating, whatever else you do, really centering on yourself, forgiving yourself for what you did yesterday, look forward to what you're doing the next day. And what I tend to do is I tend to do a little meditation in the evening, looking towards the next day of what's coming, so that the dishes aren't in the sink anymore, the laundry's been done, things that would distract me in my house normally are taken care of the night before, so they're not part of my day, even though they're not on the list or the schedule. So taking care of yourself when the need is there, I think is ultimate and paramount to general health, mental and physically. And get off the couch.
And like you said, like any time of the day that you can put these practices in, make that your time of the day to do it. Like I do a lot of things in the morning because I truly believe, and I think this is true, but the way you start your day is the way your day is going to go. So if you get up, you hit the alarm clock, you race to like get to your kids or your work or whatever, the rest of your day is going to be hectic. And so you get to the end of the day, you've already had this hectic day, you're probably frustrated already and tired. Are you going to do the things that you should have done earlier in the morning, even if it was 10 to 15 minutes, and you're not giving yourself that time?
Another trick: teach yourself to wake up without an alarm clock.
Oh, that's hard.
It's an abrupt thing.
Oh,
Your
Yeah.
body has a way of
I think that
functioning.
becomes more of a natural thing.
I haven't used an alarm clock. Well, I'm old though, and I get up early.
No.
But I look at my day starting at 6:30. I'm up at 5:30. So I just took that aspect of it out because it was an abrupt thing dragging me out,
Yeah.
And I think that we can have habits that are better for ourselves and integrate into our lives like that.
That is the word. Habit.
love it. Cammy,
Cammy.
hamster,
Hi, Cammy.
Oh no.
the hamster.
Anyway, so I know that you are pretty sustainable in your life or try to be. How do you think we can implement more sustainability within our own personal lives, whether it's work, relationships, in a world where it kind of feels like we're getting away from that, if that makes sense? That sounded a lot better in my head. You know what I
Like
mean?
no more disposable people.
No, like, you know, I know Mark and I know he's a sustainable person and tries to be and puts that in every element of his life. How do you think we personally can do that in
So
little ways?
I think it comes back to simplicity, because like almost everything in my book, it's almost free. Like I'm not telling you to go buy something that's going to cost hundreds and hundreds or thousands of dollars. I mean, the divine put us on this planet with what we need. Sometimes it's not easy to access, so we need to get in our cars and we need to go to the grocery store and stuff like that. But I think it's coming back to simple practices, instead of overcomplicating things. I mean, I think that's the easiest way to say sustainable, like cook your own food. That might be probably the easiest thing to keep yourself healthy. I mean, yes, is it convenient to run to fast food? Of course. Um, you know, when you're looking at food, I mean, grab the vegetables instead of like the processed stuff. Because not only are you sustaining yourself, the processed stuff is coming in tons of packaging, and so now you're also helping to sustain the planet. So I really think sustainability comes with simplicity in your life. Obviously, look, I need to drive to get here and to go places, and I like to fly and go to different places in the world. And at the same time, just every single day, the little things, like simplify them a little bit more.
All right, if I could end on stress, I think. Oh, you have got a. You
I
got a
just had
question?
one question. Mark, I've known you through the years, I think since I first moved here. And I remember your social media presence, and this is what we're going to go through a lot this month here at the brokerage, changed dramatically, seemingly. How has that played into your success and your outlook and telling your story? Is that why did you choose to do it? I remember you posting about your poop, and I was like, "What is he doing?"
I think we would say stool.
No, he said. I think he said
I
poop.
said poop. So
Like that was bold, and like that was a long time ago.
I mean, it was about gut health, right?
Yeah.
Like look, and
I wasn't ready
I mean,
for it.
I mean, I know it's gonna sound bad. I go to the bathroom 4 to 6 times a day.
I think there's doctors for that.
But I think it's one, because I move my body, because I'm eating fibrous foods that is helping me digest. When it comes to social media, I have a client she's about to turn 70. She's a yoga teacher, and she's like, I don't want to get on social media, but I feel like I have to. And I'm like, you post what you need to post. If you don't like what other people are posting and stuff like that, like you have to make it your own thing. Obviously, there's a digital trap where we sit there and scroll on endless hours looking at things. But if it's gonna help you sell a house, why not put it out there? You going and you call people. People usually say, if I'm getting a call, it's either me, because I still like to call people, or it's their mother. And so, I mean, you go out and like call a bunch of people where people will be scrolling on Instagram and possibly see that you're selling a house. So, like I said before, technology is our best and worst nightmare. Um, or it can be a good thing, I'm sorry, and it can be our worst nightmare because it can consume you all day long. And at the same time, if I'm bringing a message of health and wellness to thousands of people versus, the 20 people in here, like, look, maybe I could still change one person's life, and I think I did my job. And at the same time, if I can go out to the masses, social media, there is a good role for it.
So if we could end on something, stress kind of is one thing I'd like to end on. And you started talking about it a little bit. But I wear this thing now, and it's very it's very aware of how many minutes a day I'm in a high stress situation, and it lets me know. And then it gives me this like terrible recovery score, and I'm naturally competitive with myself, and I want it to be better, if for no other reason, just to get a better score. But I mean, stress kills, right? And there's all sorts of different stresses, and I think we can be doing all these good things, and if we still can't manage stress, we screw it up.
So like social media with like biohacking and stuff, like looking at your watch all day, that could bring you into another spiral. Okay. It is good to have metrics. I mean, y'all know this as realtors. It's good to know, to go get blood work done once or twice a year. I mean, you should know these things about yourself. When it comes to stress, stress can be many different things. Is it harder to walk around with 30 to 100 pounds on you or to roll out of bed? 100%. It's not just physical stress, though, that you're feeling. This is mental and emotional stress that's coming on you. And it's the same thing. If you're here at the office and you're used to sitting next to Cody and he keeps tapping his pen the entire time, that's not only going to trigger you emotionally and mentally, that's going to bring some physical stress to your body as well. And that's why I was talking about like putting conscious stress on yourself, because there's every day you're going to have something that's going to come at you, right? And so for you to get to that next season in your life or just the next day, you need to keep putting stress on yourself, and you need to take that other stress out of your life as best as possible. I have this tattoo. It's in Sanskrit. I mean, it's swaha, and it means to let it go, to throw it in the fire, to give it to God. And basically, if you just hold on to the things that are stressful in your life, it's going to be really, really hard to keep moving forward. So, whether it's the people that are bringing drama in your life, whether it's a little extra weight or whatever it is, I mean, it's still stress. So I think limiting that. I mean, I think there's a whole documentary on Netflix with cancer saying, take out all the environmental factors and what we're putting in our bodies and this and that. That stress is the biggest thing, but I think stress is also an umbrella for everything that's like sort of negative into your life.
Let's end on that one more time. With in Sanskrit,
Waha,
swaha,
Yeah.
give
let it go,
let it go, throw it in the
throw it
fire,
in the fire,
give it to God. Love that. Thanks for being here, Mark.
Yeah.
All right, so Mark,
Yeah.
do us a favor. Go sign some books that people can take.
Okay.
Save one for me, so I get one.
We'll take one. Here you go.
Well, I want you to sign it.
Okay.
Well,
He won't see you again.
I might.
And then here's some
Oh,
flyers.
yeah,
also.
and we'll put those all on the table. Perfect.
It's for New Orleans Yoga Festival. On the other side, I'm putting on a retreat in India. So if you'd like to go halfway across the world and find yourself, yeah.
Sounds like a long flight.
Oh, my
Here,
keys.
turn 'em
That
off.
was beautiful.
All right. Well, that was
Come over here.
No, I think what I love most about you, Mark, is like you're extraordinarily like passionate, and I like been able to see that through. And I think that's what's I think built your business, frankly, right? Which is really, really, really pretty cool.